Thanks for choosing to listen to this Late Night Linux Family podcast. We're only able to do this because of the people who support us. None of our shows are paywalled, but our Patreon supporters can get most episodes early and never hear any ads. Learn more at latenightlinux.com/support or support us by telling a friend or colleague about everything we do. Hello and welcome to episode 124 of Linux After Dark. I'm Joe.
I'm Chris.
I'm Gary.
And I'm May.
Welcome back all. This is going to be a short episode. At Christmas, I kind of took a bit of time off and I'm doing it again for summer. My thinking is it's better to have a short episode than no episode. So, my question for you then, which machine in your stack is the most precious to you and why, excluding anything you use regularly or in production?
So for me, it is a Toshiba Satellite 4010 CDS. So I have had this machine for probably 25 years.
Wow.
So this is calling it a laptop is fairly loose.
Is it a luggable?
No, it is a laptop. It's a laptop form factor. So this is a Pentium 2 era laptop with probably 16 megs of RAM. It still boots. It still works. The NiCad battery still holds a charge, surprisingly.
What?
And it is a machine that we've had since I was a kid, basically. So I don't use it regularly. Clearly, it has no practical use at all, but I'm not throwing it away. It's beat to absolute hell. There are scratches all in the top, but I can guarantee you if I plug it in now, it will boot into the Windows 98 install of my childhood.
Right, so that's pretty self-explanatory then. Pure nostalgia.
Pretty much, yep.
I quite like my Asus Transformer Book T300 Chi, which is one of their convertible line where you could take the screen off of the keyboard and the screen was actually an entire tablet.
Is that Android then?
It is not. It is Windows. Well, it shipped with Windows. I put Linux on it pretty quick.
Right.
It got me through school. It was my note-taking device. I figured out finally a note-taking solution on it, and then, everything changed. I think it was external journal that I used on it. Maybe ++ after that. I don't know. NG, something like that. And I don't know. It was really, I hit it out of the park first try on a Linux machine. Because it was a Linux machine that actually worked with the pen back when that just wasn't a thing for Linux. Because the surfaces were around, but there were no Linux drivers for their panels. You basically couldn't get a device that had that feature set around the time that I was playing with Linux on it. And I ended up putting things like Ubuntu Touch on it. It didn't work very well, but it did go on it. It was the first device that I tried Unity 8 on, back when it was actually in Canonical's hands. It's just kind of a special device to me. And it can still boot Linux today and works basically perfectly every time I try it.
So mine is Dell Latitude E5430.
That's a good one.
Which is quite old, but I distinctly remember buying it because I had a Clevo machine and I opened the lid one day and the hinges snapped out of the chassis. Has that happened to you before? Mm-hmm. It literally pulls the screws and plastic apart and you're just like, oh. So I taped it together with Gorilla Tape for a while, but I was like, this is not long term. I was like, right, what can I buy that won't do this? And then obviously everyone was like, ThinkPads or Latitudes. And I got it really cheap, but incomplete and built it up. And in fact, I took it completely apart, cleaned everything, put a new CMOS battery in, and I still keep it because the hinges are metal. It's incredibly well built. It's very, very chunky, but the input devices, the keyboard has high travel. It has a rubberized seal. It has a proper catching lid. I just think I wanted laptops to stay that way forever. It has all the input devices. Every screw you take out is labeled on the plastic chassis, the size. It's just fantastic. What I have it as now is it's running Pi-Mega because it's literally a machine that I turn on and it boots into an Amiga experience. And I plug in a USB mouse and it has everything ever for the Amiga installed on it. So when I had my actual A500 Plus, I used a TV modulator, the A520, into a black and white television. And that's the closest I can get. Like, obviously I can load Amiga emulators on a standard Linux desktop installation, but this is different. It sort of sets you up a bit like those mini consoles do. You know, I am going to be in this era of nostalgia. You can never quite recapture it, but it's great hardware to do it on because it is solid and fun. So, you know, recently I took it apart again and put the highest i5 that can go in, and it's, you know, it's just, I'm not going to get rid of it. It's going to stay here.
I was really torn on this because I've got the first decent laptop that I ever bought, and that is sitting under my keyboard right now. But I've talked about that before. So I think I'm going to have to go with the first desktop I ever built, because I'd messed around with desktops before and, you know, added parts and, you know, swap parts out and everything. But this was, I must have been around about 2010, 2011. And I thought, I'm going to buy all the bits and I'm going to put together a proper desktop. And I knew nothing about it, but somehow I managed to get all the bits that worked. And it's a first gen i3, or it was a first gen i3. At some point I upgraded it to an i7. And I think I bought 4 1 gig sticks of RAM at the time. So I had 4 gigs of RAM. And it's now maxed out with 16. And it's got the i7 in it. And it's just so power inefficient that I just can't use it. And it doesn't help that the power supply I bought for it was unbranded. It was just the cheapest power supply. That's like the fan's always on it. And like you plug it all in, and before you boot the machine, it draws 5 watts, like off, if the power supply is switched on. That's like more than a Wise 5070 idling. Or even probably your M4 Mac Mini, Gary. It probably uses more than that when it's off. So
yeah, it's pretty bad.
I can't use it for anything. It's not even in a case anymore. It's just sitting actually on a table at the moment. And I was just doing some power tests with it. I tried it with a more modern, proper power supply, and it used a little bit less, but I just can't justify putting it into production. I could probably justify putting it in your room as a heater, mate. And that's about it.
Pretty much.
Well, I can never throw that desktop away because it was the first one I ever built and it worked first time. I really did not expect it to turn on and boot. And yeah, it's too dear to me to ever throw away, I think. It's probably going in a skip when I die. On that happy note then, we better get out of here. We'll be back in a couple of weeks when normal service will be resumed. Until then, I've been Joe.
I've been Chris.
I've been Gary.
And I've been May.
See you later.